Princess Cooking TV. So today we are going to be making Nigerian stew, delicious Nigerian stew. What are the things that you're going to need when you're making Nigerian stew? Of course, you're going to need your paste tomatoes. So I am using Hunt's paste today, just one. Of course, I'm going to be using olive oil. I will also be using some parboiled tomato paste that I've already parboiled today. When I buy the whole tomatoes from the food store, I will slice it up, put it inside a big pot, cut half onions. One whole onion, I will cut it into half and then put the half inside the boiling tomatoes. And I will also add about 4 or 3 hot red pepper, so that it will be hot and I don't have to put hot pepper again when I'm making the stew. So it depends on how you like your stew to be hot. That will depend the amount of pepper you will put in. Puree, the tomato puree paste that I already made, okay? So we'll be using that today. So we are also going to be using some red onions that are already chopped up. Of course, you're going to need about 2 cubes of Maggi, and then you're going to need some salt, and then you might need a little bit of thyme and a little bit of curry. I'm going to turn on my stove and then put my pot right here that is on the stove. It's already here, it's dry, there's no water in it. So I will go ahead and turn on my stove. Alright, so now we are going to start adding our oil so that it can heat up, and then we can start frying the stew. Okay, so I'm adding the pot is already hot. Alright, so I already waited for the oil. You can see the flame rising, so we're going to lower our stove up to and put it on low. Okay, so I waited about 3 minutes for the oil to heat up. Okay, so we are going to first of all put a little bit of salt inside the oil. It will make noise and that will tell you that it's ready. Okay, you hear the little noise? So I will go ahead and put my chopped onions now. Make sure that you have the kitchen well ventilated, so you have to have the air on, or you can at least open the windows, okay? We're going to now stir our onions inside the oil. Put your heat on medium while you're waiting for the onions to cook. So as the onions is cooking, you can go ahead and add your paste tomatoes. So I'm going to add my paste tomatoes. So I'll use this and scoop it up. Okay? Put it inside slowly. Mash it slowly. Be careful so the oil doesn't spill on you, because this is hot oil. The reason why we are putting the tomato paste first is to have it cook a little bit before we go ahead and add our parboiled tomatoes that we already made. So we'll go ahead and leave this on to cook for a few minutes, about 5 minutes, and then we'll come again and stir it. Make sure your heat is on medium. Our paste tomato is getting cooked. Okay, so see the face. So as you see me turning it, it's not burning, and don't want it to burn. So that's why you have to stir as much. You have to stir as much as you can, so that the bottom of the pot doesn't start to burn, because you don't want a burnt stew. That's not good. The good thing about Nigerian stew, for it to taste good, is that you have to cook your tomatoes. You have to cook the tomatoes that you're going to use. You have to fully cook it so that it doesn't come out tasting like something that is fresh, that is not cooked. So it's enough. So now we are going to add it right now. This is the tomato sauce that I made. Okay, so I'm toiling it little by little, and I'm stirring. Fresh look, because it's fresh tomatoes that is parboiled with half onion, like I stated before, and about 3 to 4 red small pepper, and you now blend it together inside the blender. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the whole tomato sauce. You can go ahead and stir. Keep stirring the tomatoes till it's all mixed up well. So now the tomato is gonna start boiling. Okay, it's gonna start popping up, and you don't want it to start spraying all over. So the next thing you're going to do is just leave the tomatoes to parboil. So you're going to cover up and leave your heat on medium. Okay, if you have the numbers labeled on your stove, leave it on number 3. Okay, and then cover it up for about 10 minutes, and we'll be right back. So it's about 10 minutes, so let's go ahead and open our pot of stew. All right, the tomatoes is already cooking, so we are going to go ahead and add the other stuffs that are left. Okay, a little bit of thyme. So this is the thyme that I use. Okay, so I'm going to add about this much of thyme inside. Going to add some curry, about this much. I'll go ahead and add 2 cubes of Maggi. And then I'll just add a little bit of salt. Then I will stir. I'll go ahead and taste my stew. Tastes delicious and pepperish. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this before. There is no stew that you're going to forget putting your meat stock. So depending on the meat that you parboil that you're going to use that day, that will be the meat stock that you're going to use to put inside the stew. Okay, so I am going to show you the meat stock that I parboiled and also the meat as well. So this is the meat stock that I parboiled. So I will go ahead and add it inside this stew. Like me to show you how to parboil your meat for your stew, give this video a thumbs up and leave your comments below. Now that I've finished putting in my meat and the meat stock, I'm going to just go ahead and turn my stew. When I make my stew, I make it in a big quantity because I have a very large family, so I have to cook enough stew that will be enough for everyone. Finish adding my meat and the meat stock. I'm going to test my stew once again. Make sure there's enough salt and pepper in it. A bit of more salt. So you add little by little and taste your stew to make sure that there is enough salt. You don't add plenty salt at the same time because you don't want to end up putting too much salt inside the stew. The meat that I use in this stew is pomo and some goat meat. If you don't like goat meat, you can always substitute it with just regular beef. Go ahead, cover my stew and let it boil and cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. Make sure you come and check it about 10 minutes from now on to make sure it's not burning, and then leave it for another 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, I'm going to come back and check and make sure that the stew is cooking well and not burning at the bottom. And we'll be right back. Okay, we are going to open the stew to see how much is boiling. Alright, it's like it's cooking well. Let's go ahead and turn and taste it. So we are going to wait for 20 minutes, and by then the stew should be fully cooked. Alright, so let's go ahead and check our stew. So go ahead and stir slowly. Good that I have nchwangu vegetable in my fridge, so I'm gonna put a little bit of nchwangu inside the stew. I'm going to put this nchwangu inside the stew. I will rinse it off the water and then put it inside the stew. Nchwangu will give your stew a distinct flavor. So if you do have some, you can always put some inside and then turn. All right, let's open our stew. It's boiling. Make sure you lower your heat so it doesn't spread all over. Then go ahead and turn. All right, so the stew is fully done. This is the Nigerian stew. So we are going to enjoy this with a nice rice and beans. Take care, and I'll see you on our next episode.